Hi, what I'd like to do today is show you some of the image editing tools that are available in Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint. They work virtually the same on both Mac and Windows. Let's open up a blank document first in Microsoft Word. A blank document opens up, and what I need to do first in order to do image editing is I need to insert an image. I'm going to go to the Insert menu, then I go to Pictures, and then I go to this device to select images that are on my computer. I'm going to select this one of the Colosseum that I took while I was visiting Rome. Okay, now I have an image in the Word document, and you can see that the ribbon here has changed. That's because instead of being on Home, it now is on Picture Format. And Picture Format gives me access to all of the picture formatting tools that are available. I have some handles on the corners of the image that if I use my cursor and move over to them, I can drag and move the image and make it larger and smaller, or I can make it thinner or wider. I always have an undo button in Word so that if I ever want to undo the last step I did, I have the ability to change that. Well, let's take a look at some of these image editing tools and what it's possible to do. The first thing you can do is you can crop your image. By cropping to an image, you can adjust how much of the image you actually have contained on the document itself. This actually removes a portion of it. By moving your cursor to the handles on the edges, you're able to adjust the portion of the image that actually is going to be used from this point on. Then you can click on the return key and that completes the crop. Some other things you can do with crop is you can change the orientation and mirror of the image. So let's select the image again. I'll get my picture format tools up here. I'll go to the crop option and I can crop it to a shape. If I want to crop it to a basic shape, you can see that there's the ability to change this cropping so that it fills a certain area on the screen, whichever you choose to work with. So play around with these and see if they work for you or not. You can also change the aspect ratio. So I'm going to undo this last crop I did, get back to the crop that I wanted, and then if I go to crop, I can change the aspect ratio of the image to different formats. I can have it fill different areas, and I can have it fit into certain areas if I want to. So the crop tool gives you all the capabilities you might normally expect in a graphic image editor right within Word. There's also a rotation function here. If you select that with your cursor and you move your mouse, you have the ability to rotate the image, and you can fine-tune the angle by clicking on this angle icon here, and you can rotate it left, right, vertical, horizontal, or look at other rotation options that you have that give you the ability to do fine-tuning on the layout. All right, so we have a picture in here. Let's see if it's possible to remove the background. The remove background function works best when you have a background that's pretty consistent. For example, if you have a person in the background, or a person standing in front of a background, or an object in front of a background. This might be a little more difficult, but let me show you what it can do. It's going to select some of the background here, what it thinks is the background, and I have the option to say mark areas to keep or mark areas to remove. So if I want to just take the sky out, I can say I want to keep certain areas, and I get a cursor pencil here that I can use to draw and make sure that I have spaces that are available here around my image that I can keep, and it'll try and do its best to highlight those for me. So you can see I've gotten some options here. I can adjust this a little bit more by highlighting some areas here and just draw a circle around these areas. It'll start to select the areas that you have and want to keep just by using this draw tool to select them. So it gives you the ability to fine-tune your features if you want to and make sure that areas you want to keep in the image stay in the image. But it can be somewhat frustrating with an image that has certain things that you might want to make sure stay out and other areas that you want to make sure stay in. So I just recommend playing with it and trying it out, but it tends to work best when you have some clear focus on the background and other areas. If you don't want any of these changes, you can discard them and they take you back to your original image. Now let's take a look at the next item on the menu, corrections. Corrections gives you the ability to sharpen and soften the image. It also gives you the ability to adjust brightness and contrast. And you can see the image changing in the actual document itself as you select some of these tools, and gives you the ability to make even more options by clicking on this picture correction options. And you have the ability to adjust sharpness, brightness, contrast, color, and a few other items here we'll take a look at. Okay. You have the ability to go to color, and you can change the color of the image by selecting one of the color presets, or even use other items or select specific colors that you might want to use to format the picture. You can apply artistic effects, say a black and white effect, or an outline effect, or a pixelated effect, or a blurred effect, and you get a totally different idea of your image here. And if you ever want to go back to restore the original, you can click on this icon here and says reset picture and size. That'll restore the original that we used when we first brought it into the document. Our transparency gives you the ability to set the picture for transparency. Here we have some text in our document, and if I want to move this picture, I can move the picture and have it covered over some text if I want to by changing the layout. So if I have a layout option here, that's with this little icon up in the right here, and I want the picture overlaid over text right here, I can select it, and I can use this to format and move the picture around and keep the text where I want to. So this is a really neat effect to use if you want like a graphic background and you want your text highlighted. So let's move our picture down a little bit, and we'll reset our picture and size, and we'll make it so it centers on the image here. So that's what transparency does. You also have the ability to compress it, to reduce the size, to make your document smaller. You can change the picture if you like the shape it's in, and you just want to change the picture in terms of what you're doing. So let's take a document that has some text in it, and this is a text script I had for some information on technology, and I've already inserted the picture here, but so you can see how the text formats around the picture. This little icon again uses your layout options. Now, you may not necessarily see the picture format in the ribbon, but you will see it when you select the picture and click on Picture Format in your menu. These picture styles are really one of my favorite aspects of doing image editing in Word and PowerPoint. You can see as I hover my mouse over some of these picture styles, it gives me the ability to apply frames, formatting, borders, and there's a drop-down arrow here that gives you the ability to apply a whole lot more that you may not have thought about. Try playing around with these, and you can see some of these offer some 3D effects. They offer the ability to do things like this, and your rotation icon is always going to be here, so you can always rotate the image using the rotation icon with whatever effect you may want to use. Again, you can always go to undo, or you can always go to this icon that gives you the ability to reset the picture to where you had it formatted. Now, you do have some options here, which you can make a picture border readily available and just select the border if you want one. You have the ability with your other effects here to modify this, and you have some options to do things like 3D rotation, not just with the ones you had a choice of, but a whole range. You can see how this gives you the ability to modify your picture and change it to whatever you may want to do. So these are some options that you have available in the image editing tools. In PowerPoint, these tools look virtually exactly the same. In Microsoft Word 365 on a Mac, they look virtually the same. And in Microsoft PowerPoint on a Mac, they look virtually the same. Now, one of the great things about working with these images, say you make an edit of your image and you apply a format to it, maybe you apply an artistic effect, and you'd really like to keep that artistic effect and use the image. If you right-click on the image, you get a menu that pops up that says Save as Picture. And this works virtually identically on Windows PC and a Mac PC. So if you select Save as Picture and you click Save as Picture, you have the ability to save this image as a new image that you can save separately from the document itself. Generally, portable network graphics will be selected. I recommend either that or JPEG. They're very usable for formats across almost anything. And you can click Save this image, and you'll now have a file of just the image separate from the document itself. So this gives you the ability to do all of these image editing tools within Word or PowerPoint, and then save the image separately if you choose to. There are just some great options to take advantage of that you may or may not have been aware of, so I encourage you to try and explore them and take advantage of them. If you like this video, be sure to watch more of my videos on Bobology, my channel, or join me at Tech Explorer Community, where I do live sessions like this and explain technology to adults of all ages. Thanks very much, and I hope to see you soon.